On this episode of The Pulse,
the president of our university meets the student press.
Take a trip to the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo for their spectacular Lantern Festival.
And take a look at the men's and women's basketball squads for the upcoming season. I'm Jessica Fontaine.
And I'm Robert Finizio. These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show.
You're watching The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
This fall, the pioneers had the opportunity to get their questions about Sacred Heart answered. On September 29th, Sacred Heart's student government hosted a town hall with President Patillo, where he fielded questions from students to address campus concerns. Carissa Munoz and Alejandro Ramos covered the story.
It is week 8 of the fall semester, and students are well underway into their academic year. As students engage in new classes, events, and extracurriculars, many have had questions of what the rest of the school year will look like. This year, students had the chance to have their questions answered at student government's first annual town hall with Dr. John Patillo, Sacred Heart University's president. Attendees were welcomed into the NC auditorium by student government members. Pulse member and student government president Alejandro Ramos spoke at the event.
It is so wonderful to see so many of you here with us today. I would like to thank the Office of the President and Dr. Patillo for taking time out of their schedule and for being here with us today. I believe that the best way to enact change is by being present and making ourselves available to the students. So, here we are.
Sophomore Gabriella Orlando, student government's director of student relations, moderated the event.
I hope that the Sacred Heart community gets the answers to their questions and that Dr. P could communicate to the student body everything that is concerning the student body currently.
The parking crisis, a worry of students who commute to campus, was addressed.
Is that we need to make certainly room for the commuters. Students who are close by shouldn't be driving onto campus when commuters really need those spaces. And we will, I think they're leaning towards moving that staff will park probably off campus. So that'll free up a couple hundred spaces.
Dr. P also answered questions on a more personal level.
What do you think retirement will look like for you? Where will you go?
Where will I go? The back row is laughing because I told them, what will retirement be? Retirement will be me lying in a casket.
I believe that the town hall event with Dr. Patillo went very well, and a lot of students got their questions answered as they came up to me after the event saying that this event was very helpful.
The town hall with Dr. Patillo was an excellent way to form a transparent relationship with the administration and the student body here. I was really happy that the parking issue was addressed because that's a very big concern for many students here, and it brought a lot of comfort to us students to know that the administration feels what we're going through and is working on solutions for us.
The town hall created movement by administration. On October 11th, members of Sacred Heart received an email from SHU's Parking Committee providing future solutions for parking situations. This includes the plans for building additional parking areas on and off campus. Change is possible thanks to this event.
I think events like this are extremely important, not only for Dr. P to be able to talk to students and to be here and to listen to their concerns, but I truly think that it's important for every administrator to participate in events like this.
Reporting for The Pulse, this is Carissa Munoz
And Alejandro Ramos, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Alpha Kappa Psi is a co-ed business fraternity on campus that strives for students of any major to improve their business skills as well as make connections that will last a lifetime. Brendan Capozzi has the story about the organization that changes lives.
Alpha Kappa Psi is a co-ed professional business fraternity that was founded in NYU in 1904. We were founded on our campus in 2015, and since then we've been helping people with resumes, LinkedIn, finding interviews, but we also have a great social side. We all love hanging out together, and it's just a lot of fun.
Alpha Kappa Psi is the oldest and largest co-ed business fraternity in the world. With more than 200 chapters, Alpha Kappa Psi made its way to Sacred Heart University in 2015. The fraternity is associated with the Jack Welch College of Business and Technology, as most brothers are in a business program, and most events held are through the business school.
So I think it's most significant that we are partnered with like the business school, and we do a lot of things with the Welch College of Business and Technology because majority of our members are actually business students themselves. So we have a lot of connection to the school just because of the classes we take. And I think we all know each other. We all take classes together. We all know people in like the Welch experience and things like that. So it really just helps us, I think, relate to each other, to the school, and form a deeper connection outside of just the brothers of our fraternity.
Current Vice President of Membership, Marissa Laval, oversees the potential new brothers as they move through the process, and she tells them the steps needed to become a brother.
The intern process is a 6 to 8 week process where you learn fraternal knowledge as well as professional skills from brothers who are already currently in the fraternity. And we evaluate how you have improved over time to see your growth and if it's really working and if you're learning from us. It's important to see growth from potential new members throughout the process because it shows us that it's working and that they actually are learning something from us. And if they weren't, then there's no point to all this.
What makes Alpha Kappa Psi different is that this is not an organization for just business majors. A wide range of majors are involved.
Recently, we've been marketing ourselves as benefiting any major because no matter what job or what position you want to go out for, you're going to need to submit a resume 9 times out of 10. You're going to need to sit for an interview 9 times out of 10. So these are skills that we help people with while also helping people build friendships.
Sophomore Jeffrey Palma was an Alpha Kappa Psi intern last year and has not regretted anything about going through the process.
So I wanted to join AK Psi for a few reasons. Being a non-business major in the fraternity, I felt like I had a lot more to learn in the business field, such as different interview skills, how to build like LinkedIn's, resumes, because I had none of that going into it. And I wanted to have an experience that was both going to be beneficial to me from like an academic or career standpoint, as well as one that I would enjoy getting to know all the various other brothers in the fraternity. So AK Psi has helped me indirectly in a lot of ways, being a psychology major, and it's really just been some of my personal skills. So I wasn't the most confident person when it came to meeting new people. I always tried to be open in those interactions, but I was never super confident, being the person to go up to somebody first and introduce myself. But now having AK Psi and having to have done that in multiple ways, it's made me a lot more comfortable. And that's allowed me to, get different connections with professors, other people in the department. And I mean, going into a career in psychology where I'll need to be talking to people in various different ways, I think it'll really have aided me once I hit that point.
Alpha Kappa Psi's tagline is shaping people, shaping business, but it is also shaping future leaders in several industries.
Overall, my time in Alpha Kappa Psi has meant a lot to me. Between meeting new people, meeting my greatest friends, being able to introduce people to who their greatest friends will then be in college, it really helps a lot. I've seen a lot of people break out of their shyness and their shell, and that's something that, I like to help people with.
Mike says that Alpha Kappa Psi changes your life forever. If you have any questions or are interested in becoming a brother of Alpha Kappa Psi, reach out to shoeakpsi@gmail.com. For The Pulse, Bernie Capozzi, Fairfield, Connecticut.
After the break, it's time to return to the hardwood floors for basketball season.
Stay with us to the end and glow wild at the Beardsley Zoo.
The next 4 years will educate your mind, body, and spirit. Will challenge you. Will introduce you to yourself. They'll show you the world and expand your horizons. Redefine your notion of community and make your family a whole lot bigger. They'll push you to your limits and then show you that was just your starting line. They'll teach you the meaning of service, that we are because of who we all are. These next 4 years are your time. Welcome to Sacred Heart. Welcome to your future.
Welcome back to The Pulse.
With the basketball season just around the corner, Sacred Heart's men's basketball team is looking forward to a new year. After being picked to finish second in the preseason polls, they're excited to see what they can do. Here's Kyle Brennan with the story.
Sacred Heart University men's basketball team has officially kicked off its preparation for the 2022-23 season. The team is bringing in trials of transfer and 11 players back to the team from last year. Coach Anthony Latina has laid out expectations and goals he has for the team. Here's what he said.
Our expectations this year are to win a conference championship, regular season conference championship and postseason conference championship, and get to the NCAA tournament. So we have high aspirations, high goals, and that's what we're hoping to do.
As Coach Latina stated, the team's goal and hope is to win the Northeast Conference Championship. Now the question remains, will the team accomplish its expectation and bring home the conference title for the first time in school history? The answer remains to be seen. For the Post, this is Kyle Brennan from Fairfield, Connecticut.
After their tough loss last season to Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round of the playoffs, the Sacred Heart women's basketball program is looking ahead to the upcoming season. With almost a completely new roster and some new additions to the coaching staff, anything can happen. Michelle Rosen got an inside look.
Last season, the Sacred Heart women's basketball team made it to the first round of playoffs in the NEC Conference. Unfortunately, after a hard-fought game against FDU, their season ultimately came to an end. With the large influx of new players and almost a completely new roster, something special could be in the making.
Last season was an interesting season. It was a little underwhelming. I think we underachieved. That's probably the word I would use. As we look back on last season, as much as we've taken some hits, 8 wins, not the greatest performance, I think we ended on a really good note, and that's really helped to propel us into this season.
There's a lot of enthusiasm surrounding the new players and what they can contribute to this season.
This year I'm excited. I really am. Honestly, from the freshmen to our transfers, we've had the freshmen come in and they've stepped up to the plate.
We have Nye, who is our point guard. She comes from Baltimore. She is a spitfire, and she is this tiny little thing with the biggest personality in the room, always. Amelia's Kelsey's sister, big guard. She's 6'1". She can shoot the three. She can get downhill. Victoria, another point guard from Massachusetts. She's a great passer, plays in transition well. And then Sierra Johnson, who comes from Virginia. Her value offensively and defensively is just already being felt. Our two transfers, Sajada Bonner, unbelievable player from Quinnipiac, plays both ends of the floor, can shoot the heck out of the three. And Sierra, coming from Wagner as a transfer post player, big, long, athletic shot blocker. You should see the stuff she does in practice. We're excited. We have a lot of new players. We have returners who are hungry, so I think it's going to be really fun to see how we all figure it out together.
One key factor to any successful team is a strong coaching staff. The girls recognize the importance and value that each coach brings to the team. With the addition of new assistant coach Liz Flukes, her input can greatly affect the team's development this season.
So I love her coaching style. She's very knowledgeable. She came in as our recruiting coordinator, so she's crushing it from the recruiting standpoint. She's done a tremendous job, and I'm excited to see as she gets a little more comfortable in the program, how much more she can help elevate our players.
I like the coaches. I feel like they all do their role. You have your head coach and she's kind of addressing everybody, but when you really don't understand, we have Flukes on the side and Candace on the side telling us what to do, and you can always go up to them and ask certain details that you wouldn't really be able to ask Manetti.
Coach Manetti, as well as the players, have high hopes, goals, and a positive mentality heading into this season.
My hopes and expectation, of course, is to win the championship, period. But I feel like ultimately getting better individually and as a team and setting myself up for the future to come and kind of be ready to take on a leadership role, knowing that it'll be other freshmen coming in who I'll understand what they're going through, so I'll be able to help them. Really just making sure that everyone is bought in, which I do believe it all ties together in the end. What I expect is just for us to just come in and just get the work done.
Every day we have short-term goals. They range from who gets practice player of the day, who outworked their teammates today, right? These little short-term goals to be our best athlete that we can be so that we can reach that end goal. Because if we can play our best basketball every time we have an opportunity to practice, lift, are we putting our best effort forward? You can say that more times than not, you're positioning yourself to be successful.
The Sacred Heart women's basketball team is certainly putting in the work to have a successful season. Watch them put this hard work into action on the court at their first home game on November 7th. For The Pulse, this is Michelle Rosen, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Now let's toss it over to Micah Brantley for our Sports Roundup.
Sacred Heart University recently celebrated Parents Weekend. Students and their families were able to enjoy many different events such as She Hoops Madness, the Pioneer Fireworks Show, and the biggest event, Pioneers Football. The game was played in front of a record crowd of over 10,000 fans. The Pioneers defeated Stonehill 40-27. Quarterback Prez was able to lift the team past Skyhawks, throwing a record 405 yards, just 9 yards short of the SHU single-game passing record. On October 16th, the Sacred Heart women's soccer team had a big win over St. Francis. The women won 1-0 and are looking forward to upcoming postseason play. That's all for this week's Sports Roundup. Back to you.
When we get back, get a sneak peek inside the choral program at Sacred Heart.
And you won't want to miss a trip to the Beardsley Zoo's beautiful Lantern Festival. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to The Pulse.
Get ready for the new and improved Sacred Heart Choral program. There are new directors and new activities. As a choral student myself, I'm seeing firsthand the transformation of the program. Here's my story. The Sacred Heart Choral program is growing through more events and efforts to expand its reach across the community. Students are getting involved both on and off stage. The choir program meetings are now bi-weekly instead of monthly and aim to create a sense of community while keeping students more informed about program events and requirements. Dr. Irina Georgieva, the new director of choral programs, has big plans on revamping the choirs.
So I'm excited to be working with the choir program, and I think we're on the right way in learning more challenging repertoire, planning some trips to Boston, and then hopefully next year planning a trip to Europe. A lot of talent, a lot of beautiful voices, and also a lot of enthusiasm around the program. So it's not difficult to work with those three qualities, as you can imagine.
Irina teaches Blended Hearts, the select female a cappella choir. She is also the assistant professor of conducting at Berklee College of Music. The new assistant director of choral programs is Dr. Christopher Grundy. He is an accomplished singer with a master's degree and doctorate of vocal performance from Indiana University's Jacobs School of Music. Here at SHU, he conducts 4 Heart Harmony, the select co-ed a cappella choir. Another new leader is the choir program's president, Senior Anna Morell, who is confident that the new directors will lead students in the right direction.
They've taught us so much with techniques and really improving our sound in the choir program. So I think we're going to advance a lot this year with their help. And we're also going to have a really good time because of how much energy and love they already have for our choir program here.
The year started with a historically enthusiastic choir retreat day. The event was full of rehearsals and activities for the students to get to know one another and sing together. Students were also briefed on new requirements. I caught up with former choir program president Ben Bello, who is excited about the new changes.
I think the choir could improve with all the new changes that are going on. It'll be more vibrant to the open up community. As you know, you're surrounded by Fairfield and Bridgeport, and we have a lot of musical talent in these areas, despite all the theaters around here, including here. And we also have the SHU Community Theater, which we can use to broaden our horizons, expand relationships, and bring more choir students in, especially those professionals who have been in the choir industry for a while.
This is really where you can't forget of all of the other problems with everything in the world and then in everyone's life, and you focus on the music, because if you're really listening, if you're really expecting a certain quality of the choir, you don't have time to think about anything else.
I'm excited for what the rest of this year will bring for us in the choral program. For The Pulse, I'm Jessica Fontaine, Fairfield, Connecticut.
You may have been to the Beardsley Zoo before. but perhaps not on a night when it's paved in wild light. Ali Pito visited the zoo to learn more about their exciting new event in celebration of their 100th birthday, the Glow Wild Lantern Festival.
The Beardsley Zoo in Bridgeport, Connecticut, instituted in 1922, is celebrating its 100th birthday this year. The zoo is thrilled to celebrate this milestone with the local community and thought that they should host an event to culminate a year of festivities.
So basically, when we were looking at our 100th anniversary, we were saying, well, how can we make it special? The new bear habitat is very special because it's bringing an endangered species back to the zoo. But what can we do for our guests? What can we do to make the 100th anniversary special? So we looked at a lot of different things. And one of the ideas was to have a light show here at the zoo. Let's try to do it in the fall. And the reason being is that it would be a walk-through light show. And we wanted to make sure that people were comfortable, our guests were comfortable as they came through, especially if they have young adults, young children.
The staff came across the company Tianyu, a premium service provider out of Chicago that specializes in world-class Chinese lantern and light festivals.
And as we looked into the products they had for bringing to institutions like the zoo, we saw that they had a lot of animals. And one of the things we wanted to do was make it animal-centric. We just didn't want lights just for lights. So in this light show, what we were able to see is they had tigers, and they had bears, and they had animals that we had here at the zoo, alligators, monkeys, but also animals that we didn't have here at the zoo. Some animals that we used to have here at the zoo many, many years ago. We had elephants here at the zoo, so they had glow animals that were elephants. So we thought that'd be kind of cool. And then we decided, well, let's go with some animals that we're never going to have here at the zoo, but they're animals nonetheless. So giraffe and rhinos would be on display also. And then we have under the sea areas. So we have whales, and we have a crab and giant fish.
Director of Development and Marketing, Jessica Summers, is thrilled to bring this event to the zoo and hopes people take advantage of the opportunity to bring their loved ones and have a good time.
I was part of a team that helped bring them here, so I kind of knew how great it could be. I saw all the videos, and as they were putting them up during the day, I was floored at actually how amazing they are, the team of people who brought them here. It's so fun to see them during the day, but to be able to experience it at night is just a pure joy. What I really just want people to understand is that, we are a park, we are a zoo, but we are land space that people can come and really do things that are fun for the family. We've had date night. We get to see multi-generational, which sometimes you see during the day, but really because we've been able to talk to people a little more one-on-one as they're coming in and as they're leaving. It's multi-generational, where it's grandparents coming with the parents and the grandkids, and just seeing them have a great time outdoors for an entirely different environment than maybe they would see during the zoo. However, some of our animals are actually still out, so if people got here early enough, they'll say, oh, I saw the bison, or oh, I caught a glimpse of. So it's kind of fun that they're interweaved within our amazing wild lanterns.
The festival is held Thursdays to Sundays until November 27th and showcases over 35 illuminated displays that come alive after the sun sets.
A lot of people always ask, what's the zoo like at night? We put the animals away, they're sleeping, so they're not going to be on display. But walking through the zoo is a totally different experience than people walking through it during the daytime. And then putting these animals out there, it becomes magical.
So we already have this audience during the day that we got to see. We were open for free for all summer through a grant we received from the state of Connecticut. So all those people hopefully will come back for our evening, and everybody who has come in our evening who haven't come during the day get to come back during the day too.
Zoos turn 100 only once, and the Beardsley Zoo is always looking for new ways to attract guests and continues to have big plans for their future.
It is a fundraiser for the zoo, so we hopefully get some money to keep working on some of the education and conservation programs we have here. But really, is a celebration for our 100th anniversary. To do something really, really special like this, I think is a great way to finish up a very, very busy year at Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo, especially for our guests.
I really just want people to enjoy things that are local. I think with everything that happened, with COVID and gas prices and all these other things, there's so much to do in Connecticut, and we just want to be a part of what all the other places, all these other wonderful places in Connecticut have to offer to our community. And this one we just thought was really big and fun, a lot of fun that everybody could enjoy together.
The Glow Wild Lantern Festival is designed for everybody to enjoy. Buy tickets online now at beardsleyzoo.org to experience the magical displays of animals. For The Pulse, this is Ali Pito, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Wow, what a fun take on the traditional zoo.
I've never heard of going to the zoo at night before, but I think I'm going to have to check that out, Jess.
Same here. That's all for today.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to the next episode of The Pulse.
I'm Jessica Fontaine.
And I'm Robert Venizio.
We'll see you next time on The Pulse.